What's up, everybody, back with another Dragon Ball Super video here for you guys, and today we're going to be going over some of the best yellow decks you can play in set 12 and going into the Battle Evolution set. Now, these are just 4 decks that I picked that I feel are very good, have some good synergy with cards currently in the meta. They have good matchups against some of the stuff in the current meta. Also, I just think these are very interesting, just kind of 4 different types of yellow decks too. I know yellow has always been sought after as a control color, but I think all 4 of these decks bring different styles to the game. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think down below, and we'll get started. So first is going to be Shinran. Shinran was arguably the arguably the best yellow deck in the format from set 10 to now, and some people still think this leader is amazing. This leader did get power crept a little bit by Mecha Frieza, being now the kind of holding the throne as the best yellow deck in the format. But Sin still provides a lot of utility, and he is extremely powerful and can be extremely dangerous. Outside of the fact that he has a very bad matchup against Dark Broly, this leader has a lot still going for it. So just kind of a concept over, going over with this list. You still play the 9-drop Sin, but now you go into Omega Shinran instead of kind of being that win condition for you. Going to the 8-drop allows you to self-awaken, you could draw a card, and also you can absorb the powers of 4 or less Shinrans from your drop area. This is very important because now you can take all of these different skills. You can take the blocker, you can take the blocker barrier, you can take double strike, but also takes their autos as well. That's very interesting, and it adds a very toolboxy style to the deck. Where it's not just being focused on hitting 6 and going into all of your dragons, but now you can kind of try to win the game with one of these 8-drops or the TP Draftbox, or the TP Omega that has triple strike, and it's kind of just an interesting form of a game ender. Obviously, this one has the Sin secret rare, but also you can run Xenocell. Xenocell is probably the better one to run, honestly. One of the only decks in the format currently that has a toolbox such as this leader. So, very, very interesting leader indeed. So, we'll go to the next one, which is going to be probably my favorite yellow leader outside of Mecha Frieza, which is Whis. Whis is a very interesting archetype, being a kind of a half skillless, half aggro swarm type of deck. The idea is you play out these 2 different skillless Goku and Vegeta here, and then they go into these 3-drop Disciples. These both have crit and double strike respectively. They also have their own effects. Vegeta can restand after your opponent negates during this card's window, and Goku KO something in rest mode. Now when these cards die, you get to play out a 2-drop Goku from your drop area or your deck, a yellow Goku and a yellow Vegeta. What's very interesting is that in the later stages of this deck, so let's say in the next format, they're probably going to be printing a lot of Goku cards. I'm sure they'll print a yellow Goku. If they print a 2-drop yellow Goku, it's playable in this deck. So when Vegeta dies, you can play out a 2-drop Goku. So currently in this deck, we are running 1 Pure-Hearted Sun Goku. This is a super combo. You can play out a super combo from your deck or your drop area. And this super combo says if your leader is yellow and your life is at 4 or less, when you combo with this card, draw a card, and it gains 10k power. So you can consistently keep playing this card out from your drop area when one of your Vegetas dies, and then you get a super combo. That's really good. This Vegeta here is the TP Vegeta, and what this card does, when one of your skills leaves the field by a skill, you can actually play this card off, but also you can play it off of when Goku dies. When this card removes a marker off of a unison, you actually get to play out a skillless card. That's really good value. This basically just tutors out another skillless, which then you can go up the chain. Between them being only having to evolve for 1 yellow, and they both draw a card, your leader also can X evolve, which is basically you get kind of a weird X evolve where you basically dump a skillless, and then you get to play out a Goku or Vegeta as long as it's the same name. So if you dump a Vegeta, you can play out a Vegeta. If you dump a Goku, you can play out a Goku. Very powerful. Then you add things in like Ox King, which gives all of your 3-drop or less yellow Saiyans, or actually just yellow battle cards in general, barrier. So if you play multiple of these, you can give your entire board barrier, because these don't give each other barrier. So you have to play 2 of these to give each other barrier, but then your whole board has barrier. And everything in this deck outside of your secret rares and your Frieza here, everything else is 3 or less. So your entire board's going to have barrier. That's very difficult to deal with. Also using a 4-2 split with the Vados and Vegeta. Vegeta kind of being our game ender unison, Vados being our mid game, because we can tap down battle cards or unisons with this to kill, so we can kill them off with Goku. Also, we can combo with skills cards from our drop area once per turn, and our leader allows it to play out once per turn. Also, you have cards like Whis, a helping hand, which allow you to draw every time you combo with the skills card. So you just see you have this kind of weird half skillless engine in here, which just draws you a ton of cards. But this deck is very powerful. I wouldn't think Whis would be one of the better yellow decks in the format. Going forward, going into probably set 14, I feel like we're gonna have some impromptu Whis support, and it's gonna make him very, very good. I can definitely see that happening. Next is going to be yellow Gotenks, and Gotenks is a very interesting style to him, because everyone thought of Gotenks as being this very, very powerful leader, and he was a very interesting leader, but he was very overhyped, and I think because of that, people felt like he kind of missed the mark. He wasn't very good. Now the problem is that he is very good, but he just doesn't work in this current format. Now, the problem with this format is then there's not a lot of decks that are running extra cards, which is where he gets his draw power and his advantage from. Now, once extra cards become irrelevant again, this leader will be very, very good, i.e. decks like Mecha Frieza, i.e. decks like Invoker. So these two decks in general, which are two very top tier decks, Gotenks is a very good matchup against, because they can just continue to draw cards. Now, the problem with this engine is that nothing has barrier, nothing has deflect. So when you play any of this stuff, they're very open to just getting counterplayed. The engine that you run the 7-drop, which has dual attack and double strike. You can also KO cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, and also it negates skills. And then the 4-drop Gotenks, which does the same thing, but doesn't go through barrier. Now, you do have you have your fusion targets up here, which you have the expansion Goten and Trunks that can tap a battle card. You can tap 2 battle cards, I think. No, one. You tap 1. You tap a battle card ignoring barrier, and then you can use this card here to KO it and remove its skills, which is very, very good. Now, this is definitely a deck that you would want to play Xenocellin, because you have the 7-5 combination here with Gotenks and Bergamo, which is very, very, very powerful. This is you can do this early as turn 4, turn 5, probably turn 5. If you play this guy out for 3, use one of these to tap a battle card. This then comes into play, and you swing twice with this, swing with this, and then play out Xenocell. Very, very powerful. You also have things like the Bardock Father and Son, which also you can play Son Goku Father and Son, which comes up for free whenever you tap something as well. This is definitely a mid-range yellow deck, having a lot of Overwhelm as well in the deck. This is a very powerful deck, and you can do a lot of different things with it. I would love to see Gotenks become a meta competitor going into the future. But who knows? We'll see. This is definitely a very, very good card. I think we need maybe a barrier deflect type of Gotenks for the current meta, and I think we'll be set, truthfully. Now, this last deck is going to be sort of a pet deck, and it's a very interesting concept that I'm working on, and I was almost not going to put it in the video because I wanted to make a separate deck video for it, but I'm still going to make a deck profile for this deck because I'm going to play it a little bit. But this is Yellow Super Baby. This is the starter deck Super Baby from set 8. And people say, why would you be playing this leader? Well, the very interesting thing about this leader is this is kind of an aggro deck. Now, this is kind of an aggro deck. And the interesting thing about this being an aggro deck is the leader's Awaken effect. Now, this is the only leader in the game, to my knowledge. You awaken at 2 life, but also this is a restand 2, draw 2. That is a very, very powerful effect. Now, some matchups, this deck may just get completely slaughtered, but it's like I said, it's why it's a pet deck. Now, what this deck does, this is one of the only decks in the game that multicolor is not a problem. So if you charge a multicolor first, normally you can't do anything. You either, if you're on your attacking turn, you play a multicolor, swing, draw a card, pass, or if you're on your first turn, you charge a multicolor and you don't do anything. Not with Baby Vegeta. So with this deck, if you have a red and yellow multicolor card in your energy, you can play out Dr. Mew the Mastermind for free. This card allows you to search out the Baby Evil Origins and play this card. When you search out and play this card, you get to draw 3 cards and then pitch 2 of them. So this is a very, very good card for cycling, because you can do this once per turn, every single turn. Very, very good. Now, when you have both of these on board, you actually can, next turn, you can combo both of these to arrival out a Super Baby. This guy is a 15k barrier, not super important, but he does have barrier, so he is very, very difficult to remove. And once he goes on the board, we can then use him. Actually, when you play him out, you can play out Baby Janempa for free. When this card comes into play, whenever you play a multicolor baby, you can play this card out for free. When you play this card out, you get to search top 7 for an offering card, which is what a lot of these cards here will have. Offering, if you take 2 cards, then you pitch 2 cards. Now you have 4 cards currently in the drop area that you can use for your Bardock Awaken Instinct, which allows you to draw 2 more cards. So technically, you drew 3, pitched 2. So you drew 1, but you cycled 2 cards out of your deck. Then you draw 2 cards here, and then you pitch 2 cards, and then you can draw 2 cards off of this, and then pitch another one. And this is a 15k, this is a 16k, this is a 20k. That's a lot of attacks for 1 energy, basically. Not to mention that your leader technically does have dual attack, because you can take life and then restand. So he's kind of like a yellow version of Gohan. So you're swinging potentially 5 times in 1 turn, just 1 energy. That's pretty good. Now let's go on to the rest of the deck. So you have Super Baby 2 here, which is a X-Evolve for a red and yellow. This card has Offering. Offering is a very, very good skill. So Offering says your opponent's either crits a life or you get to draw 2 cards. So technically it's a net 1 or a net 2, because either you get to draw 2 cards or your opponent has to lose a card from their life. Now when this card is played, you get to choose all your opponent's battle cards ignoring barrier and negate their skills for the turn, and then he gains a dual attack. He's a 25k dual attack Offering. So you swing twice with this guy. Let's say you have the ability to awaken. Boom, you awaken, restand 2, draw 2 cards. Then you play a Heartfelt Plea. Heartfelt Plea will come in on top of this guy. This guy will go to the drop area, you get to play this guy out, and then he also has Offering. So you then need to draw 2 more cards or create another life. And now you have a 30k triple strike on board. Not to mention, because you're woken at 2 life and you have a yellow leader, you can play out Pan here for free. Pan comes into play. Pan can restand any yellow battle card on the field once per game. So you can play both of these out. You can only play one of these out at once, because if you play multiple, it'd be completely broken. But you can play out one of these guys. You play him out. You do Offering. Swing with this. They negate. That's great. You restand him again and then swing again with them. You can put so much pressure on somebody that it almost becomes impossible to deal with. We have the Universe, I think it's Universe 4, Angel Rare here, which is an Offering card, as well as the 20k 2-drop that has Offering, which basically just draws you 2 cards or deals the damage to an opponent, which is very, very good. The rest of the deck is sort of control / just support. You have the Supreme Kai here for defense. You also have your Floodgate Topo, your combination of Zamasu and Bergamo, because we are playing a yellow leader. You have Gogeta, where you can pitch more cards or draw more cards. Also, just another swing. Vegeta goes with this. You have Nimbus, you have Champa, you have Planet Vegeta. You have a lot of extra stuff in the deck, and truthfully, a lot of the stuff you may not need. One reason why I do run Planet Vegeta, because you can search out this guy here, because he is a Saiyan, so you can search him out. I think he counts as a Saiyan, right? Yeah, he should count as Saiyan. So he's a yellow Saiyan, so you can search him out. Actually, it doesn't search out. Yes, it definitely searches out 4 drops. So you can search this guy out, so that we can combo with both of these. You also can search out, I think that's it. You can search out your Vegeta, I guess, here. The idea, like I said, of this is just kind of a blanket idea. This is a very basic idea of what you can play with this leader. I'm not going to reveal my actual deck list until I make the video, but it's just a concept. It's just a concept, but I think this could be a very interesting leader to go into the future. I don't think it's a deck that could, control how the meta is played, but having a very aggressive leader that can play out things for free or for very, very cheap is very, very good. Now, there is another baby that you can play on top of this instead of this one, and without going on top of this, which is it's a power booster one. I think it's called Parasitic Presence or something. It's a double strike. It's a 25k double strike. That's a good card. I think you can play that one as well if you want, because it actually will go into free. It's free play. It's a double strike, so that may be a better option as well. But I like this guy because you can negate your entire opponent's board. So if they have a ton of blockers or anything, you just remove everything. Swing twice, and dual attack is actually a better keyword attacking skill than double strike currently. Just because double strike, you negate it, and now it's gone. With Super Baby, I can swing. They say negate. Cool, I can restand. I can swing again. Now they lose another card from their hand, or I get the combo, and then I can go into Champas and other things. So it's a very interesting concept. But let me know what you guys think down below of these 4 decks. Which one do you guys think is the best deck out of this format? For these 4 decks, which deck do you think you would add to this list? deck you think we take out of this list. Interesting what you guys have to say about this stuff, but that does it for me today. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.